This is the AM News on the AM Show. Details now, starting with management consultant Akosua Bami has charged Ghanaians to step forth and protect Ghana's natural resources against mismanagement. Ghana's forest reserves and water bodies have come under siege under attack in recent years due to the activities of illegal mining. Speaking at our latest public lecture on how to foster a way out of Ghana's current economic and social challenges, Akosua Bami said there must be a total revolution of mindset to confront the challenges. There's more in this report.
Looking beyond the Fourth Republic towards nation building, the case for citizen mindset revolution. That is the theme that assembled thought leaders and ordinary citizens alike on the latest JoyNews public lecture, speaking on the subject on how Ghana can chart a new path through its challenges. Management consultant Akosua Bami first established that the problems of the country is not about the competence of our leaders.
Is incompetence the cause of corruption? Is it incompetence when successive governments reward themselves with ex gratia payments, V8s, all manner of allowances, while 60% of citizens languish in poverty, barely able to afford a meal a day? Is it incompetence that causes our leaders to watch people die at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's dialysis unit due to an unpaid bill of 4 million Ghana cedis? No. I hesitate to lay these behaviors and actions at the door of incompetence alone. Frankly, what masquerades as incompetence is a much more sinister and insidious problem which needs to be called by its name, the mindset of our leaders.
She said one of Ghana's current problems of illegal mining can only be resolved if the youth step up to confront the menace.
America's Central Intelligence Agency puts the worth of Ghana's unmined minerals based on prices prevailing on the world market at $10 trillion. Assuming the estimate of 10 trillion to be true, each of the 34.5 million Ghanaians' share of the unmined minerals equates to approximately $290,000. Yes, their one share in this one asset class has that value. This, in a country where the majority is unlikely to handle even $50,000 in their lifetime, is a travesty indeed. So, citizens, knowing the value of your one share in this single asset class, will you continue to sit idly by and watch successive governments plunder and mismanage your wealth? I surely hope not.
Research fellow at the Center for Democratic Development, Kwame Sapong-Asiedu, also expounds reasons for some of the current challenges facing Ghana's health sector.
We, each of us who goes into a supermarket, pays an NHIS levy. In your wisdom, you pay that money so that it will be set aside to be used when you are unwell if you are registered with the NHIS. However, we got told in 2017 by others that though we, in our wisdom, had paid those monies, they knew better how to use the monies we had set aside for our health. Unfortunately, we looked on whilst they took the money and said nothing. Sadly, we now complain that the NHIS has no money and that our cards are not functional. What were we expecting when we sat down, lamely, for them to take the money?
Another major issue confronting Ghana's economy is the continuous depreciation of the Ghana cedi against major international currencies. Managing partner at AB and David law firm David Ofosu-Dorte said the Bank of Ghana's current approach to resolving the problem is wrong.
What is the purpose of monetary policy increases if it doesn't reduce inflation? And I've said it, I've tweeted this. It takes boldness for somebody to reverse an economic policy which is not working. I say, as an example, that monetary policy increases has never solved inflation in this country. If it had, you can't increase monetary policy rates 5 to 6 times and inflation is still going up. China and Turkey did the opposite by reducing monetary policy rate, and it took people like Larry Summers to actually say that is the right policy, and China's inflation started trending down.
But how frustrating these challenges to the ordinary Ghanaian, and how bad do they desire a change?
Council of State is sitting down will not talk to the president. Christian Council is watching. Islamic Council is watching. And they cannot call the president to the order. People are suffering. I took my wife to the hospital. I nearly wept and I asked God, so today now, I am in the hospital. If I should go home and rainstorm or maybe any disaster, take my single room away. Who institution will I run to say, oh, Pacho, Babuami? Nobody. I don't know where I'm going to go.
Akosua Bame said the best solution to all of these challenges is a total change of mindset, self-consciousness, starting from a reform to Ghana's educational structure.
At the national level, the mindset revolution can begin with the following: launching a national citizens orientation program. 2, developing a national identity. 3, decolonizing our educational curricula. 4, building language cohesion. 5, investing in youth development. 6, establishing and maintaining a national asset register. 7, prioritizing health education. 8, addressing religious exploitation. 9, addressing pollution. And 10, reprising the role of town council officers.
All stakeholders and audiences in the end agreed that citizens must take responsibility, take front seat in the discourse for development, and spark change in every corner they find themselves with a renewed mindset. James Savaji, Joy News.
The Ghana Grid Company, GridCo, says its engineers are on the ground this afternoon, working around the clock to restore power to parts of the capital plunged into darkness following yesterday's fire at Ekomog, a slum community at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra. GridCo says there's been an outage to its 161 kilovoltage at Chimota to Accra Central Transmission Line and conductors following the fire incident. JoyNews' Rejoice Semefakpesu was on the ground to interact with officials at the scene of the fire. Here's her report.
This is the aftermath of the Circle Ekomog fire yesterday, where fire razed some hundreds of structures over here, leaving many residents homeless. Now this morning, many parts of Accra still remain in darkness due to the fire outbreak yesterday, because this place has a number of high-tension electric poles that connects to many parts of Accra. We have GridCo officers on the ground. They are doing the assessment.
So we've done an initial assessment. We've seen that our transmission line cable on this transmission line, it serves Achimota to Accra Central. About 150 meters of the cable have been damaged, and so the line has been put out of service. It's been isolated because, for safety reasons, we don't want anyone to get electrocuted or hurt. Because even under these current conditions, there's still some electromagnetic current in the wires. So we are trying to get cables to barricade the area so that people don't come and touch or, get caught up in any incident. So mainly our towers have also suffered some burn. Later on, they will be retreated and restored. And then we also have some conductors that have been affected. They will also be replaced, and the insulators will be looked at. If they are still in good condition, we'll leave them. So essentially that work has begun. I'm sure you see some of the engineers have come with additional equipment. So it will continue like this for the rest of the day and for as long as it will take. But I don't project it will be too long. We are told that they will quickly do this work. So this particular transmission line, it terminates at Accra Central bulk supply point. So what we've done is we've been working and have got some additional load coming from Malam substation. We know that because this line is out of service, there's been a reduction in the power that ECG will get to serve everyone. So I can't give you the particular areas, but by close of day today, everyone should be restored.
But we have the regional minister also coming through. He has been saying that henceforth they wouldn't allow anybody to raise structures over here again, and they will get anyone who will attempt raising structures here arrested.
You see the grid code transmission lines, a national asset. This fire that gutted the place, if it affected any of the lines, we're all gone. And I'm so sad that human beings are living under these pylons at the peril of their lives, circumstance. But I've instructed that nobody should leave here anymore. Nobody. And we mean it. Because as regional minister and the Regional Security Council, it is our duty to protect every life and property. So a gentleman, he said he's a chief around here. And I've told him that I'm pleading with him. We don't want these things to continue. We don't want any third fire. Therefore, they should prepare and leave. We'll make sure we put men on the ground to make sure nobody, and I mean nobody, lives here. I mean my words. And anybody who try to rebuild will arrest the person and send him to court. I'll put the soldiers and the police on the ground. Anybody who comes here and try to build will arrest him. I mean it, because we mean serious. This time we're not going to joke. That indiscipline, that recklessness that people go around the region doing, it's not going to allow.
Right, Honorable, is there any plans underway to make sure that we get an alternative place for these people?
Where are we going to get it? Accra is choked. These are all squatters. It's unfortunate. Government cannot, where are we going to get it from? It's very difficult. There's no way we can get a place for them to live. So I'm sure they've been doing a lot of business around. So they might have done some savings. So they can look at other alternatives. But government hasn't got that muscle to get them a place.
To other stories now. The director of the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine, that is KCCR, Professor Richard Odami Phillips, wants more opportunities given to the youth to pursue postgraduate education. With a booming youth population, he believes the move will translate into sustainable economic growth. Speaking at the second annual postgraduate conference on the College of Health Sciences, he called for more investment in research.
In doctoral training, Professor Phillips advocated an approach aimed towards meeting various career paths aside from academia.
Efforts from all, if we are going to be able to make progress with our graduate programs. And there has to be a change also with the graduate training. We need to interrogate this, look at how we can change our graduate programs to meet careers, different career paths. And for a very long time, PhD graduates have aimed for and built careers in academia and research to the extent that those who fail to get in consider themselves as failures, with other sectors considered of lesser value. But we need to think about these numbers. In the Netherlands, close to 70% of PhD holders work outside academia. In the US, about 30% work outside academia and 35% in academia.
The two-day conference, which is under the theme, Harnessing Postgraduate Research to Achieve Sustainable Development Goals, will feature both oral and poster presentations and discussions highlighting the latest advancement in healthcare research. This year, the number of abstracts saw an increase from 48 to 165. The Pro-Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Ellis Osudabo, admonished the college to work across the various SDGs.
It is important that we don't work in silos, but we work across the various SDGs. And so when you pick health, health in itself has got ripples. Health has got ripples on poverty, health has got ripples on hunger, health has got ripples on quality of education and justice and all of those things. If you're talking about mass drug administration and you're targeting a particular population, and you do not consider the issue of justice, inequities, these are all part of what we're supposed to be addressing.
The Provost of the College of Health Sciences, Professor Christian Ajare, entreated participants to actively engage in knowledge and ideas sharing. And Professor Alexander Yaldebra is the chairman of the planning committee.
The SDGs provide a framework for addressing some of humanity's most pressing challenges, from climate action through good health for all and to social justice. However, achieving goals requires evidence-based solution, cutting-edge innovation, and collaboration across disciplines and departments. Post-graduate research, especially those at the College of Health Sciences, offer a unique opportunity to explore complex problems.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
One of the challenges faced by prison authorities in the country is the inadequate food to take care of inmates. There is, however, light at the end of the tunnel for inmates of the Central Prison, as Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development supports them to build their capacities and also produce organic manure for their farm at Bayere to feed them. JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam was at the training session and has more from Bayere.
As part of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CICOD, and the Ghana Prison Service, the latter has embarked on a program aimed at supporting the former to cultivate their own food in safe and hygienic environment. It is also to build the capacities of inmates to acquire some basic skills to support them to produce their own food using sustainable approaches such as agroecology. Deputy Executive Director of CICOD, Daniel Bonoku, is hopeful that through the program, the inmates, once they serve their term at the prison, will see agriculture as an alternative to bettering their lives.
And so the whole idea here is to give you hope that farming still remains an opportunity once you get out of prison. It is only how we are able to do it using the least resources that are available, by looking around our environment to see what are the basic things that we can convert and make them useful, increasing soil fertility and making agriculture a nice thing to do. So part of the training we are going to go through today, you have been part of the first process to convert waste. You saw the granite shells that was lying at Bongo. At the end of the day, it's the rain that would have come and carried all of those granite shells away. But today, that granite shell has been converted into biochar. So you've added value to waste. We are now going to take it to the next step, where we compose this to make it organic fertilizer, that even if you set up a small garden within your space, you don't need to go and buy the fertilizer. You don't need to go and buy the chemicals. You can produce this on your own and be able to provide the lettuce. If you look at the wild market, people are looking for vegetables. We are looking for tomatoes. We are importing tomatoes from dry Sahelian countries. Why can't we come together and start producing our own food?
One of the biggest challenges faced by prison authorities in the country is a meager amount of money used for their feeding. They are being fed on 1 cedi, 18 pesos per day.
Your people are doing their best, but if it is not just available, it is not available. So we use this opportunity to call on the government also to look at
In other stories, government has enhanced the monitoring and regulatory duties of the Minerals Commission in the Eastern region by commissioning a state-of-the-art office complex to serve the Brim Central Municipality and its adjoining areas. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister disclosed that constructing a well-equipped office is part of the government's agenda to decentralize and bring the operations of Minerals Commission closer to mining operators and communities. Kofi Sian reports.
According to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, the construction of the modern office for the Akimoda Minerals Commission is further evidence of the Akufo-Addo administration's commitment to revitalizing the mining sector by promoting sustainable and environmentally sound mining practices. He noted that the office would enable the Minerals Commission to conduct effective supervision in Akimoda and its surrounding areas. The minister announced that under the Akufo-Addo administration, the operations of the Minerals Commission have expanded significantly with the construction of 4 new district offices, 12 satellite offices, and 2 observatory offices.
The government of President Akufo-Addo is not against small-scale mining. After revamping community mining schemes, introducing the mercury-free gold mercury-free gold processing equipment known as the gold catcher, rolling out online application for mineral rights, and instituting the small-scale miners award scheme, if there is still any doubt about the President's commitment to promoting sustainable small-scale mining industry, these infrastructure projects should do away with that doubt. His commitment and that of his government is to implement eco-friendly mining techniques that minimize environmental impact and ensure the long-term health of our ecosystems, build strong relationships with local communities and traditional leaders, provide employment opportunities, and as I can imagine, this edifice is going to create a lot of employment opportunities for the people of Akimoda, and contribute to local development projects and local economies. As I can imagine again, that this building will promote the local economy of Akimoda.
He assured the area of the imminent launch of the community mining scheme, stating that the construction of the office has paved way for the creation of the community mining concession. He acknowledged the Member of Parliament for the area, Alexander Kwasiakwa, for his assertive role in realizing the offices, promising the concession will soon be announced.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Member of Parliament, Honorable Alexander Kwasiakwa, has been knocking on my doors all the time, insisting that Akimoda deserves a community mining scheme. And I'm here to report to him, Honorable Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister for Health, that I will assure you that very soon Akimoda will have a community mining scheme.
Board chairperson of the Minerals Commission, Barbara Otinjesi, stated that the President tasked the Commission to streamline mining, especially small-scale mining, to benefit every Ghanaian and protect the environment, hence the expansion of its offices.
His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo told us that he wants to regularize mining in such a way that we will all benefit from it as Ghanaians, and also ensure the protection of our environment. To ensure that this can be done, we were mandated to expand our offices across the country, to draw closer to the mining companies, especially our small-scale mining companies, to effectively monitor their activities, to ensure we protect our forest reserves and our river bodies.
Osiadia Dr. Frimpong Manso IV, the paramount chief of the Achim Kotoku traditional area, expressed his delight at the impending arrival of the community mining scheme and praised the lands minister for fulfilling the request of the MP and the residents.
Now to some stories from our business update. Research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Buti, has welcomed moves by the Bank of Ghana to strengthen the cedi, but says those interventions are not sustainable. According to him, the central bank must focus its lenses on how to address speculations rather than paying attention to supply levels. His comment is coming at a time the cedi has witnessed some marginal gains this week to the dollar by 0.41%. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Buti called on the regulator to eradicate the speculative triggers to achieve a long-term stability.
Of intervention that is bringing the correction, I don't think we can sustain that for a long time. So we need ultimately not just be providing like supply to meet the demand levels. There's a certain level of frivolity in the levels of demand you are seeing. So we need to be able to separate effective demand from those that are speculating and then meet those. For instance, if Bank of Ghana, just for argument's sake, is doing $50 million every week as intervention, is it something we can sustain for the next maybe 7, 5, 6 months? I don't think so. Ultimately, it has to come back to a level that is sustainable. That is what I mean. So the correction, whether it will continue or not, and where it could get to will depend on how we effectively anchor sentiment. So effectively me saying that if you can eradicate the speculative triggers, then you can get a long-term stability. But if it's about just injecting liquidity now to fuel or to meet the levels of demand there, how long can we go with the interventions we're having now? That's the point I'm making.
The government has cleared its indebtedness to the Social Security and National Insurance Trust in terms of public sector workers' contributions. About 2.6 billion cedis was made to the trust last month. Chief Executive of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, John Kwenin-Mbroa, disclosed this on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tonight on JoyNews at 9 p.m. He says they are working to ensure that government meets its commitment on time.
Very well, dotted reasonably throughout the country, have compliance, and therefore they have a mandate also for Tier 1. So many people do the Tier 1. Tier 2, yes, we'll have to come behind the schemes that are going around and the reports that we get from individuals who are working for some entities that are not paying, and our own compliance soups that we do. And these are the tools or the strategies that we use to actually catch up with those who are perhaps doing Tier 1 and not doing Tier 2. These are mandatory schemes, as you know. Tier 1 is mandatory, Tier 2. Once you employ somebody, you are supposed to pay Tier 1 and Tier 2. So we are doing a lot in terms of compliance to ensure that people pay. But if you don't pay, and then somebody reports you or we find out, there is this surcharge that we apply. The law enjoins you to pay 3% surcharge. And we make sure that those things are done, and failure of which then we hold it before a judge. Prosecutions, and I think you are aware.
Are you doing that? Has it gotten to that stage where you have to pull employer?
Oh yes, several of them. We've done several prosecutions. We've sent about 40 or more than 40 cases, and some of them have actually complied by paying. We've retrieved over 20 million from indeed prosecutions.
The last story actually aired yesterday, but you can catch the full interview on our social media platforms, especially on YouTube. And that's how we're wrapping up for business updates, as well as the AM News. Coming up next is News Review. I'll be joined by Nanaya Sapong, political assistant to Alan Chemanteng, and Remy Edmondson from the PPP. Stick and stay.